Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the track The Mad Stone by the English art rock band Everything Everything. This is the second track to be released from their upcoming 7th studio album Mountainhead, which does release on March 1st, 2024. And with the first song we did get to hear a bit of an introduction to this world they've been building. They do it in a lot of their music. The idea of this society that is constantly mining deeper and deeper and deeper to extend the height of the mountain, where the hierarchy almost live, and it's the people that are the working class almost that are working at the bottom, and they're digging themselves deeper and deeper into this hole and making the mountain bigger. So a very interesting concept that's going to cover a lot of different storylines and also a lot of different messages as well. It's something we do see the band do very, very heavily, pretty much across the previous 6 albums, and this album will serve as the follow-up to 2022's Raw Data Feel. So will this track prove to be clear as crystal or as mad as a hatter? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
Outside, I can make it a business, I can sell you it. Do you live in a mine? A notorious black spot, up and coming out here. Let the wizard talk come. At the peak of Choice Mountain, you've been saving up. Are you really this old? I can make it a business, come with me to the Mad Stone. Above you, Mad Stone. Let it control you. At the very top there was a screen that showed a picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man on the screen. And he was looking at another picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man who was the double of me.
Well, we've certainly got Jonathan Hicks showing off his proficiency there with these very falsetto, quick delivered rap sections coming in. Certainly a very interesting section in the post-chorus, and we can kind of see this light, fluffy atmosphere that the song's trying to generate. It's trying to spin this kind of negative society into a positive way. You start from the coming in verse 1. Are you coming outside? I can make it a business. I can sell you it. Sell you the idea that what we're doing is so fantastic, building this mountain up, making it higher. It's almost like an estate agent almost, trying to kind of sell to the people down below that are working constantly that their lives are great, and it's a real nice spot to be when in fact it truly actually isn't. Do you live in a mine? A notorious black spot up and coming, I hear. Let the wizard talk. It's almost like this idea of being allured, almost very spell-like, and we can see that as it kind of moves into the chorus with these orchestral elements really being brought in, and the layering of the vocals really just help to add to this almost dreamlike atmosphere, this dream state that you're kind of living in, where you're just working and working and working. And the idea of come with me to the mad stone, I love how it erupts into that chorus and really has this feeling of grandeur, like you're being taken on some sort of transcendental journey almost, and you can really see that. At the very top there was a screen that showed a picture of a man, and it's almost like this idea of reflection. We've seen this album potentially going to talk about the idea of society, as much of their music does, the idea of kind of being drawn into technology. So at the top of this mountain is just a screen, it's kind of watching the back of your own head, almost like Big Brother's always watching, and you kind of have your reflection being shown back at you. It's almost as if you're looking into a phone screen. So we can definitely see lots of different messages the band are really going to kind of pull into this, and we have got multiple references already to previous tracks from previous albums, things such as the peak of Choice Mountain. There's so many just going to be scattered throughout this track, I do feel, given we've already had maybe 3 or 4 already.
So you scream and you save. I got wild in the aisle, son, let me tell you that. Did you set me aflame? I can sell you a fire hose, put out all of it now. Do you think it's all true? Nothing quite so romantic, there's no oxygen. I'm a mountainhead too. What is that, a religion? Come with me to the Mad Stone. Above you, the Mad Stone. Let it
with the second verse, you can almost see it building this idea of almost a pyramid scheme. It's trying to get people on board with this religion, almost trying to sell them. I'm a Mountainhead to what is that a religion? So you can really see this idea of this kind of salesman idea coming in, trying to sell the idea that we should become Mountainheads and believe in this society, this higher power that is at the top of this mountain. So you can really see that coming through quite cleverly through that verse too. And they often do make references to a lot of supermarkets, things like that. I don't know why the band loved to do it. I got wild in the aisle, son, let me tell you that. Did you set me aflame? So lots of like religious ideas really coming in, the idea of kind of retribution and lots of different things with the idea of the fire. I can sell you a fire hose, put out all of it now. So I can sell you the answer that you're looking for to kind of douse the flames that are covering you. I can really kind of sell you whatever you need, and that's selling the idea of becoming a Mountainhead. So I really do like a lot of the way they're blending that in to the kind of encapsulating the narrative that we're going to be seeing running throughout this album. Whereas you had the first track, which is called Reactor, which kind of felt like set the scene with the idea of where this album's going. This kind of feels like it's building in the narrative that we're going to see that will run throughout it. The idea of just this mad stone at the top of the mountain that everybody believes in and that everybody worships.
Strange winds are blowing on this mortal plane. You get no pleasure from your pleasure center in your reptile brain. The mad stone is singing. Can you say the same? You get no pleasure from your pleasure center in your reptile brain. This is the mad stone above you. The mad stone, let it control you. Every time there was a spirit, showed a picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man on the screen. And he was looking at another picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man who stood there looking at a picture of a man who stood there looking at me.
Okay, definitely saw we did move into the bridge, more kind of focus on a lot of different things with this track. These strange wings are blowing on this monoplane, almost like the idea of word of mouth and things like that. The idea that this religion is slowly beginning to grow, beginning to gain a bit of traction as they do recruit more and more people. You get no pleasure from your pleasure center and your reptile brain. So this is again touching on the idea of screens kind of becoming almost zombified. We're kind of going back to, we're de-evolutionizing because we're so absorbed into these things that we're getting no pleasure. It's the kind of the idea of not getting any dopamine because you're just doom scrolling all the time and things like that. It's something the band again have covered on previous tracks and really put a lot of emphasis on. And I really like the way they're just bringing in lots of these narratives just to the kind of build up the album to kind of make it this mountain that they can kind of play around with. And they've got different storylines being set up. You've got this mad stone at the top, this giant screen, this big brother idea. Then you can also reflect on the idea of the people that are mining, the miners that are building this mountain even higher. So you can really see how they're starting to build on the idea of these Mountainheads, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the album does incorporate these lots of different storylines, because you've also got the religion tie-in as well, which we can see very heavily through this track. But I love the way that the musical style really helps to encapsulate this almost magical idea with this track, the use of the orchestral elements, the idea of the backing vocals, the whistling, things like that. It felt very feral a lot of the time and almost like you were floating on clouds. So again, making use of this story of this high up mountain to kind of show that you're going to the peak and you're visiting this area that's so high up in such a different world. And they kind of set the scene beautifully with a lot of the musical styles that they did choose to include. And I will say it didn't quite grab me quite as heavily as Cold Reactor did, but I do love these just really rockacious elements that really help to give a lot of rise to the track, give it a lot of depth to it as well. You can really see how they've pulled in so many different things, and nothing's ever trying to fight with each other. A lot of these different elements they've got are layered beautifully with just the backing vocals, the rap, everything. It doesn't ever feel like you're just being overcrowded or barraged by sound because they make it so light, make it so easy and accessible. And I'm really curious to see how they're going to continue building on the narrative and the story of this album, but certainly they've given themselves a very strong concept to play with that allow them to bounce a lot of different ideas off and really help them to build the structure that they are looking for. And I also like the closing outro as well. Run all night, never get free. Really talking about the idea that it can also be a prison. The fact that you can escape, you run all night, but then you're never free because you get captured and brought back, or you can never escape becoming this Mountainhead or this religious idea. You're kind of stuck in this cycle of constantly mining to make the mountain bigger. So I like how they kind of close with that on this track. May set up for the next track that will follow it on the album. So I'll be curious to see exactly how that goes as well. So that will be everything for today's video, but as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comment section below. How do you feel it lived up to Cold Reactor? I certainly feel like the first track was a bit stronger than this one, but certainly some great elements included within. Also, if you'd like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Dojo analysis.